All right, bet.
How are we doing, Highway Rivals family? Back here for episode 5, I think so. Real excited to be here today, considering everything that's happened leading up to now, from Thursday nights, from the draft to some of the playoff games that have been played. Real hot topic in Shadeur Sanders and what's going on that way. Nate, how are we feeling to be here today?
Feel great. A lot to talk about with the NFL draft, and ready to get talking about the players we got drafted and then what else has been going on in the league.
Yes, sir. Trent, how you feeling?
Feeling good. Glad to be back. We're going to touch on the draft today. A few Louisville players got drafted too. Obviously, Shadeur was 5th round. Pretty crazy. Talk about the NBA playoffs a little bit today. I mean, Minnesota's up 3-1 now.
Yeah. We'll get to that. We're going to get to the playoffs at the end. I do feel like there are more pressing matters right now. And there may be more pressing matters than what we're going to talk about first, but to stay true to the idea of what this podcast is, we are going to shout out some love to our Cards and Cats that got drafted. I think the highest that got drafted was Maxwell Harrison, went to my Bills Mafia, baby. Shout out Brennan. I know you're going to be watching. As much as I hate you guys, this is one player that I'm definitely willing to make an exception for. I wasn't for Ray Davis, even though he ended up having a great year for us. He showed up in really big moments. Maxwell Harrison, Nate, kind of tap on the skill set that he's bringing to Buffalo.
I mean, you're getting the crazy corner. You guys saw the personality at the draft, hyping everybody up. His reaction when he got drafted, honestly, Kentucky didn't show that side of a bunch of our players. We didn't know that he was that type of guy.
No.
And he's obviously very energetic, but football-wise, you're getting a lockdown defender on the outside. I believe he's one of the best corners in the draft.
Scouts obviously feeling a way that he's better than Will Johnson. And all we heard leading up to the draft was Will Johnson's the best corner in this draft, and I'm pretty sure we saw 2 or 3 go before him. So I'm definitely happy with the pick. It's funny too because we ended up going with Deion Walker 3 rounds later at pick 109.
That's 3 Kentucky players in the last.
So 3 Kentucky players in the last 2 drafts. Starting to think we have a connect there. Obviously don't work in management, so I don't know what's going on in Buffalo as far as the connection there, but starting to think we've got some inside sources on what these guys are really like, because there's, other than that, I can't imagine why they'd be doing this unless they're bouncing off their TV screen, which, and no hate to you guys didn't really have a season where a lot of it was bouncing off the TV screen.
Yep.
So that's what kind of leads me to that. Deion Walker, Nate, I know he's a beast, but you know a little bit better. You've probably seen more film than I have.
Deion Walker he is a beast, just like you said.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about Deion Walker. He was supposed to go in the 1st round, and he fell to the 4th round. So why? That's a big question for everybody. He's also coming off of a year where he was battling injuries all year long. The year before that, he's great. We're going to see what he'll do. I like that he's at the Bills. I feel like perfect place for him. They obviously can develop players, and Ray Davis having success there, and now these guys being there, I like it. I like that Kentucky fans kind of have a team to cheer for now too. Probably getting a lot of new Bills fans after the draft this week.
You got to think too, it's the Bills, they really just drafted mostly defensive players too. So you got to be excited about, the defense next year.
Got to stop Mahomes. That's what it is. But that's the only dude we're really going to lose to in the playoffs, unless, other than the year we lost to Burrow. And we will get closer. As we get closer to NFL season, that will become a very large focus of this podcast. The sports world is in a weird period right now where it's still the 1st round of the NBA playoffs and things like that. But nevertheless, on the opposite side, about 65 miles down the highway, we got 3 players drafted from Louisville.
Yeah.
I think the most surprising thing, we'll touch on that. I think the most surprising thing all of us saw was the fact that Tyler Shuck got drafted as high as he did.
Yeah, absolutely. That was pretty crazy.
We do know that scouts were high on him. I didn't think he was going to go this high. I'm very happy for the guy, though, and he represented Louisville well. Character, humbleness, he's really a locker room guy. And I don't blame an NFL organization looking at him and saying, hey, regardless of his ceiling talent, we believe in his ability to perform, but also be a leader.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a lot of what went into this. But to the New Orleans fan base, they're not happy with it at all.
I saw that, yeah.
Trent, what kind of person are they getting in their locker room now, though?
I mean, like you said, they're getting a leader. They're getting maturity. I mean, he's played quarterback, and not only has he played quarterback for a long time, he's dealt with injuries, and he's gone through, changes throughout college. He's been through a lot of adversity. And I think this last season, he finally had a full healthy season with Jeff Brom as his coach, and he really flourished. And I think he's going to do the same thing in the NFL, honestly. The confidence that he has, I know that everyone hates that he's 25, 26 years old, but, that's one thing that a lot of these other younger quarterbacks don't have is age. And I know it sounds crazy, but all these GMs want to draft young quarterbacks. Well, I like the way the Saints thought. I think that they're thinking he's going to come in and battle immediately for QB1. And I think that's what they're thinking, honestly, because I don't see why they would have taken him in the second round. Because I thought Shuck would go third. I figured he'd be in a QB2 situation. But where he landed with the Saints, I think, anything's possible for him now.
Yeah, I mean,
to be honest, I think anything could happen.
The Saints are still in salary cap purgatory from late Drew Brees years, where they were really trying to make a run, and they kept running into the Bucs with Brady, or at least the 2 years in the playoffs. This is me being a sports critic. I don't know that this was the pick. I love Tyler Shuck. I don't know that this was the pick. However, all the things that I said before still stand true. You're going to get a man. You're not getting a boy. I think this can work. I don't think it's your long-term solution to winning a Super Bowl. And that's me being as impartial as possibly as a Louisville fan. I think he's great. I mean, I heard Kentucky fans say, God, if we had this guy. So, I think he's something. I don't know that he's, an all-pro type of player. I don't know that that's what they're getting with him. What's funny, though, is the same way that Deion Walker and Maxwell Harrison are going to be able to be teammates for even longer, Quincy Riley and Tyler Shuck
reunite,
are able to be teammates for even longer.
That's pretty cool.
Me and Trent both love Quincy Riley. He and Ashton Gelati, and we'll hit on Gelati in a minute. He and Ashton Gelati were the heartbeats of our team because the few defensive plays that we had last year with one of the worst defenses we've had pretty recently, they were made by Quincy Riley and Ashton Gelati. Quincy Riley he's not like a 4.3, 4.4 jump off your TV screen speed guy. He's physical corner. I think that's why he'll translate well, actually. We'll see. Can you look up New Orleans defensive coordinator real quick for me, or one of you, so I can kind of get an idea of where he'll be at if he were to be a starter?
I got it right here.
I know it's not Dennis Allen.
The defensive coordinator is Brandon Staley. Oh, wow.
Okay, so Brandon Staley, a guy that likes to run a lot of nickel. And what that usually is going to mean for a guy like Quincy Riley, he's going to get a lot of opportunity because defensive subs are necessary in nickel.
I didn't realize that.
Because there's a lot less linebackers and things like that, et cetera, et cetera. So I do really like this for Quincy Riley. He's going to be a good NFL player. If I were to bet on any of our guys, of our three, on Louisville's side to potentially be a Pro Bowler or something like that, my bet would be on Quincy Riley. And then Gelati.
He got drafted, I was just looking at it. He got drafted 66th overall to the Chiefs.
Yeah. First of all, super proud of this guy.
I mean, going to the Chiefs is huge.
He's been with us for a while now. He gave a lot to our program.
I think he also went through some adversity, and the fact that he was in our program for multiple years, too, shows his,
Real Jeff Brom guy, which we love. And Jeff Brom obviously has NFL connects, and, I have no doubt in my mind that Brett Veach, Kansas City's GM, called Jeff Brom and was like, hey, what am I getting here? And Jeff Brom had nothing but great things to say because that's all we know him to be. Ashton Gelati is a great player who faced a lot of double teams last year. And I do think that while his stats went down, his production actually leveled out the same when you look at his end of the year stats. It was crazy because everyone was kind of hating on him. They expected him to kind of win like ACC Defensive Player of the Year or something like that. But
well, I mean, honestly, I think, the season that he came off of the year before, we thought, sky's the limit.
12 sacks,
this kid could be a first-round draft pick. Obviously, age is a little bit of a factor, but not really. This year was a little different. I think for the whole entire Louisville defense, it wasn't what we expected at all. But he had some moments for sure, and he still did his thing for sure, but
had a sack against
I'm
Kentucky.
happy for him, no doubt, yeah.
Had a sack against Kentucky.
There is one player I do want to talk about that I thought would get drafted or by now would sign a free agent deal, and that's Corey Brooks. And the reason why is because I know he's not the most talented receiver, and, I never really even expected him to get drafted. Maybe he should have, but I think what he brought to the team this year was huge. I mean, if you watched him,
he was our best player.
He was Tyler Shuck's.
He was our best player.
Corey
Brooks saved our season in ways.
And some of the throws that Shuck had weren't as good, and he made the catches look unbelievable. So I was very, very shocked to see him. I thought he would at least sign, after the draft. Yeah. The first player I thought that would sign, but it was Corey Thornton.
Corey Thornton to the Panthers. Congrats to you, Corey.
That's big time, yeah.
You did have some great plays for us last year, actually. I'm pretty sure he had an interception in the UK game. That was one of, what's that kid's name? The quarterback.
Cutter Bowley.
Cutter Bowley.
Yeah.
All respect to that kid.
That kid got put in a shitty situation.
Yeah, I'm really happy as a state, though. Nate, I think you would kind of say the same thing. We saw a lot of our guys go out and get drafted and put on for our programs. You can usually bet on one player from each team getting drafted usually.
Y'all had a few players get signed, it looks like.
Yeah, we did have a few players signed.
Yeah.
And shout out to all those guys. We won't get super into that, but shout out to anyone that's able to get drafted or sign a contract at NFL level from college, man. You
that's these players' dreams.
Yeah, you completed life in a way, man. And
regardless if it's U of L, UK, I mean,
all these draft reactions, dude. Like that was the best part about the NFL draft. Is seeing these people's dreams come true. It's amazing to think how your life can change overnight. One thing I do want to say is condolences to Kyron Lacey's family. We would have definitely been seeing his name called over the weekend at least.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's sad, honestly.
And it's really sad to think about. But
also, I want to say something too. Shout out Derek Harmon, and I mean, greatest day of his life, also worst day of his life, and it just goes to show how in a moment anything could flip, anything could happen. I'm sending my condolences to him as well. I'm a Steelers fan, so, when I saw that, I was like, damn, that sucks. It's amazing you get drafted and then you have to deal with something like this. But I'm praying for the guy. He's a really, really good player, and I'm excited about him. I think he'll really carry with a chip on his shoulder coming into the season this year. So I'm excited.
Moving on from our guys to the totality of the NFL draft, we're going to go ahead and get into some of the hotter topics that I know a lot of people are going to be more interested in. We'll start with the top three first, and then we'll move into the big piece that everyone knows what it is already. Cam Ward went 1.
I think we all knew that, though, right?
Yeah, we knew
that was coming. Absolute dog. He threw 6 touchdowns against us on our field.
Oh, yeah.
He is one of them ones.
How do you How do you go from Cam Ward to Carson Beck? I just don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Carson Beck's not going to be the number 1 draft pick. We'll just say that now. I can go ahead and stamp that.
Cam Ward is a dog. I fully believe him to go ahead and win 6-7 games for them, being who he is. And he'll struggle. There will be times where, you've still got guys like Traylon Burks on the Titans. Like, they're going to drop passes for him.
He said that he was like, when he was playing Fortnite, he was saying like all his favorite running backs and receivers and like his top 2.
But that's who you want. That's who you
exactly,
want.
Bro.
That's exactly
it shows
who you
like
want.
you have faith,
Exactly.
But you can tell that he's going to be a good quarterback in this league for a long time because of where he came from. 0 stars out of high school. Where did he go? UC Incarnate? What is it? Something like that?
University of the Incarnate Word, UIW.
I don't know what it was.
UIW,
yeah.
And he went to Wazoo, Washington State, and then Miami.
Yeah, what a pass, what a career.
That's what we're seeing, though.
And what a finish, honestly. When he went to Miami, people said Miami had the best offense in college football. And I honestly can't argue that.
They just couldn't stop. They couldn't stop Tyler Shuck. and that you're not going to go get in the college football playoff if you can't stop Tyler Shadeur.
Yeah, but we couldn't stop Cam Ward.
No, it
was a shootout.
It was a shootout of a game. It was 52-45.
Yeah, it was crazy. But Cam Ward, number one, kind of all knew that.
Yep. Anything to say about Cam Ward at 1? I do want to say something. Shout out to Warren Moon, all-time NFL legend, played for the Titans, gave up his number. That is a class act, especially when you understand that kid could definitely be a bust. I don't want to put that pressure on him anyway. He's not going to see it anyway. But shout out to Warren Moon. That's a big confidence boost for a kid coming into the league.
Absolutely.
Travis Hunter at 2 via trade, though. Jaguars trade up from 5 to get the Cleveland spot at 2.
Liam Cohen.
We'll go ahead and get Travis Hunter with Trevor Lawrence. Nate, how do we feel about that connection? And maybe just him playing both sides of the ball.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think he can definitely play both sides of the ball. I think that's why they traded up to get him. They want him to play both sides of the ball. Liam Cohen has made some interesting moves, but I think the Jags are a team that you look at and you're like, they could be something next year. I mean, they got pieces. Their division's not that great.
I mean, their division's kind of good now.
It could
They're
be. It
they're
could
on the
be.
rise.
But that division's on the rise.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, you got Brian
young.
Thomas.
They're young.
He had a crazy rookie year.
Yeah, and then you mix Travis Hunter in there. That's a scary duo, I think.
He's going to be
Still have Christian
elite.
Kirk, yeah?
Yeah, no.
No, is he on the Cardinals now?
I don't know.
I think he's on.
Yeah.
He went
He's old anyways, and they still have Evan Ingram, I think. So.
But yeah, Travis Hunter. If football wasn't so quarterback centric, he would have been the number 1.
Oh wait, no. Evan Ingram got traded to the Broncos.
Yeah, I knew Evan Ingram was on the Broncos.
Okay.
Where did Christian Kirk go?
Let me look. They did make a lot of moves, didn't they?
Yeah, I don't know who they have now.
Christian Kirk. Let's see. Yeah. Texans. Wow.
Texans.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew he went somewhere.
See, I don't hate that at all.
No,
especially.
Kind of a good move.
I don't hate it because of injuries.
Yeah,
he's going to play because of injuries.
Yeah,
but if the receivers are healthy, he's not going to play as much.
Yeah. Yeah, Travis Hunter is a bona fide NFL superstar. He will be an NFL Hall of Famer. I have full confidence in that. I think when you're the Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles at the bottom of that draft, you're like, God, I might eat one bad season and go get a player like that. Like, honestly, you might. But, regardless, him at 2, I think Trevor Lawrence.
I think he was going 2 regardless, even
if the Browns took him, probably.
Yeah, but you never know. The Browns with some crazy draft picks, I think. But they're reasonable, very reasonable.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a second because we just have to take like a whole time slot for that. We'll finish off talking about the top 3 with Abdul Carter. Nate, this is obviously personal to you. It seems like the Giants want to average 7 points and their opponents average 6. What do you think?
That's what it seems like to me. I mean, defense.
Brian Daboll ball.
Yeah.
Dable.
Yeah.
Straight defense.
Dabble.
I mean, I do like some of the later draft picks. Abdul Carter was obviously who you go get there. There was nobody else there really to pick. But then we get to pick 20, and we take Jackson Dart.
25, I think.
Yeah, 20, 25, something like that.
That was crazy to me, honestly.
And
but
I, as a Giants fan, was upset with the pick. Don't think Jackson Dart is the guy. I think you take Shadeur, even though he fell as late as he did. I think he was the next best available quarterback. I think it's crazy that he fell down as far as he did. I'm hoping Jackson Dart, though, works out. I'm hoping he can play well there.
Jackson Dart is a non-issue in New York. They paid Russell Wilson $25 million of guaranteed money because he's playing for the next 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, Russell Wilson's going to play the next 2 years. Not to say Jackson Dart can't be something.
Don't they have Jameis Winston, too?
Yeah.
Like,
so it's like
Jackson Dart's not touching the field.
He's there to develop.
Abdul Carter, however, is a starting player on your team.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a plug and play, no doubt.
So,
yeah.
You got to be
we
happy
feel pretty good about
Abdul Carter.
And another player, we got Cam Shadeur. I feel really good about that pick. A lot of people don't like him. I feel great about it. Got him late. I think he
don't get CTE.
I could potentially see him starting very early. Him and Tyrod Tracy being in and out. I could see that happening this year.
I don't hate it.
I feel good about the Giants draft. It's like probably a B+ or A- in my opinion as a fan.
Yeah, we'll get into the team drafts in a second. That was kind of the next thing we were going to hit on. Trying to skip forward on me there, Nate.
We're going to talk about Shadeur, though?
Yeah. Yes. Shadeur obviously falls all the way down to the 5th round. I don't know exactly what pick, but it doesn't really matter when you fall that far.
Bro, like 144.
He was obviously not the 144th best prospect in this draft. Teams were trying to prove a point by him one-upping them, and I don't blame them for that. He acts like he walks on water a little bit. I don't blame him for that at all. My only problem with it being Cam Ward's also cocky. Abdul Carter's also cocky.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's kind of your threshold for not drafting a kid, I would kind of question, like, do you feel threatened by his presence type of thing? Like, is he I don't really know how to feel about it, but him in Cleveland, they obviously took Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round too. Nate, he's winning the starting job, right?
100%.
Like by at least Thanksgiving.
Deshaun Watson, is he going to be back?
Well, no, not by the beginning.
He won't
of the
be back.
season, no.
Yeah, so, I think he will start the season as their quarterback unless Joe Flacco is the Browns starting quarterback, which is very possible, but we'll see. I don't think Dylan Gabriel has any shot in that quarterback room. But
see, I don't know. I mean, why would they take Dylan Gabriel in the 3rd round? For what?
I mean, Dylan Gabriel put up good numbers.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they obviously
They
believe
want
in
a
him.
competition. They want someone to go out there and prove that they
Right.
deserve to be the starter.
And no
That's
doubt,
all it is.
no doubt. But when you have somebody get drafted 2 rounds before you, I mean, it's like it kind of makes you think. It's like, oh, they wanted this guy before.
Why
me,
does that
you know?
matter though? Like if you're Shadeur Sanders,
No, I don't think it matters for him.
When he fell out of the 1st round, he should have known. Okay, it's quarterback competition. No matter where I go, it's quarterback competition now. It's even quarterback competition for Tyler Shuck.
It's for all the rookies,
Like
though.
it's
All
for
the rookies.
everyone. It's except Cam Ward. It's for everyone. Shadeur is not any better.
I don't know, bro.
He's not even a great athlete.
Will Levis.
He's not running a 4.40 as a quarterback. He's not doing anything crazy. And the problem is, and this is the reality of him, he's been coached by his dad since his freshman year of high school. How is he going to respond to anyone else coaching him? So,
True.
I actually don't mind this. I think Shadeur got a reality check that he needed. And, I'm not an all-time athlete like that, so I don't know what it's like to be him. But from a bird's eye view, it seems like he needed this, and this could propel him into actually being a great NFL player rather than him getting picked way too high and having all this heap of expectations and not performing. So I think this could definitely work in his favor. With the weapons that the Browns have, obviously Judy, Njoku. They picked up Harold Fannin in the draft.
I like Njoku.
That crazy tight end from Bowling Green.
Yeah, I saw that.
they're still going to have Chubb back there?
No, he's a free agent.
He's like, dude, injuries.
He's probably going to retire. To be
It's sad,
honest. Yeah.
but
Yeah, it is. Jerome
He,
Ford.
Jerome
T-Flow,
Ford.
do we see the Browns even finishing top 3 in that division? No.
I mean, you know how competitive that division is year in, year out.
I don't know.
Even
you
though
guys are pretty bad, too.
Even though
so
the
it's like
Steelers don't do anything in the playoffs, they usually tend to have a really good regular season with 10-plus wins almost every year. So you can't deny that fact, and they usually beat the Browns once. But the Browns have a good record against the Steelers, so I'm not going to say anything. But, I mean, obviously I don't think they're going to do anything. I think this year for them is more they're kind of just going to try everything out, see what happens.
Yeah.
Honestly, at first I was like, why would they have taken 2 quarterbacks? But with their history of quarterbacks and them coming in and coming out, I think it was actually a great move by the Browns. I think that they have more tools to work with. So if one doesn't work out, they have another one to lean on.
Yeah, I think when you've been in quarterback purgatory like this for so long, you've got to draft as many as possible.
Just draft 2,
figure it out. The Browns suck, though. That division is insanely overrated.
Myles Garrett is a dog.
They might win 3 games.
Myles Garrett is a dog.
And
that is a fact.
They might win 3 games with Shadeur starting. So, that's the reality that they're in. To Shadeur, if there's one message I could I could send to you, we've seen this before with quarterbacks or players in general dropping way further than they thought they would. It's about your mindset, bro. You've got to lock in a different way than you've ever been locked in because you're not with your pops no more. You're not with Travis anymore. You're not with Shiloh anymore. You're going to have to man up in some ways. And while all of that was insanely interesting by the Browns, I would, and we're going to move into draft grades here, I would literally probably give them like a D-.
The Browns?
Yeah.
I would give them a C+. Just for the fact that they took Shadeur. I'm glad that they took him because I figured that, honestly, I didn't know who was going to take him. I would have loved to have him on the Steelers, honestly, and maybe it's just because I thought, he's a pretty good quarterback. I thought he'd go round 1, round 2. I don't think anybody really expected him to get drafted in the 5th round. And the Browns, I think, just said F it. And didn't they trade up for the pick? I believe they did, but...
No, they did not trade up for that.
Browns. Yeah, they did.
They traded up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well...
Which makes no sense.
I wasn't even watching the draft at that point.
Yeah, they traded with the Eagles.
Oh. Yeah, and then the Eagles took Kyle McCord.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're going to get into the draft grades, but I did need to make that known that I feel like the Browns are going to be bad for another 20 years after this draft. That's the playoff bracket. We'll just stay on this slide.
Okay. We run through this real quick.
So for the best graded draft grades for the teams, we'll start with Nate. I'll do mine, and then you'll see Flo will do his. Nate, who do you think had the best draft of all 32 NFL teams?
Best draft of all 32. I'm gonna go with the Jags. I think Travis Hunter solely makes that the best draft. They had some other good picks. I can't quite remember exactly who, but I just think he is going to be the best player in this class. I believe that Liam Cohen is cooking, and they have T-Law, yeah, still. So I'm really looking forward to that this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I respect that. I think the Jags are definitely going to win more games this year. They're basically going to play 2 games in London every year for the rest of the time that's a thing, so good for them. I would agree for the most part. They're a little top-heavy with having Travis Hunter in comparison to who I think had the best draft, which was the Falcons. We'll just go down the list. Jalen Walker, James Pierce, Xavier Watts, Billy Bowman Jr., and Jack Nelson. Not only did they address offensive line needs, they signed, what's his name? Matthew Judon. They signed him traded for him in the middle of the year last year. Did not work. And I'm pretty sure he's back for this year, but I think that he might be coming into this year on the way out of Atlanta. So picking up Jalen Walker, James Pierce, Xavier Watts, who we saw play in the national championship game. Those 3 guys are insane, in my opinion. And they don't really need to address offense other than protecting Penix, because I think Penix. I think we all think Penix is going to be a really good NFL player eventually, especially with what he showed late in the year.
I think so.
And you have Drake London, you have Bijan, you have Kyle Pitts, who people hate on but don't move off of him because if he explodes, well, there you have him. And your defense is going to be set. Also picking up Billy Bowman from Oklahoma to reinforce the DBs because, they already have A.J. Terrell.
Right.
And they already have Jesse Bates, I believe. Yeah, Jesse Bates as a safety. Mm-hmm. So, throw Xavier Watts on the other side, let him play strong. Jalen Walker and James Pierce, I believe, are plug-and-play guys immediately. They're SEC talent, and SEC talent typically translate very well to the NFL. I think the Falcons A++ this. Who you got?
I like the Chiefs. I mean, I think year in, year out, I feel like the Chiefs always come with an under-the-radar type of pick. I like their pick at 32. Josh Simmons is a dog. I think Ashton Gelati's a dog, and that's me being biased. But, they picked up at every position that they needed, and that was defense. So I really like what they got going. I think next year they're going to win the Super Bowl. I think Mahomes is going to be an absolute dog next season because of the season that he had this past year. And I really like the way they drafted. I think they went purely defense, and they got a really good OT, and I think they're going to be a really, 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 really dangerous rookie group. So I think they're going to have some players that are going to compete and play. But that's all I got. I like the Falcons, though, too, for sure.
Looking at the Chiefs draft, I don't see anyone that is going to play.
Josh Simmons is going to play.
Why?
He's a major position.
They signed a offensive tackle.
The Chiefs need that, though.
They signed one in free agency, though. So how's he going to play?
You don't know.
He's a left tackle.
You won't know anything until any of these guys show up in rookie camp, though.
It doesn't make any sense, though, to me.
Okay.
The Chiefs are greatly run, but this draft to me was so underwhelming, and that I'm even considering the Ashton Gelati pick. They drafted him high in comparison to where people had him.
One of those guys might end up playing.
One of them might end up playing.
No doubt. Two of them at least.
Brashad Smith.
I mean,
we're wasting a pick on a running back who they're never going to touch.
We're talking 7th round pick, though. This kid might get cut. I'm talking about we're looking at the first 3 rounds.
I think that was a dumb move. No one in the 7th round is drafting like that.
That's like a C- draft class.
I agree. I don't think. But, I mean,
they got everything
you could 100% be right, and Ashton Gelati come out and have 10 sacks, and part of me wouldn't be as mad to lose to them in the AFC Championship. So, when I think about worst draft classes, y'all already know how I feel about the Browns draft class. They are the most abysmal organization in the NFL, and they always will be probably for the rest of my lifetime. Nate, who do you think had the worst?
I'm trying to think what other teams didn't do that great. I'm trying to think higher picks too.
The Colts did not do good.
I don't know. I like that tight end that they got. They got a really.
I didn't like the Colts draft.
I did not like the Colts draft.
Besides that, they didn't get much else.
How'd y'all feel about the Bears?
I love the Bears draft.
I like Ben Johnson a lot. I like the Luther Burden pick too. I think he would have.
The Jets didn't do shit either.
No, they didn't.
They didn't do anything.
And you can't pick up a tackle with the 7th pick in the draft.
Yeah, they were one of the worst drafts too. I forgot about them.
Yeah,
fuck the Jets.
Yeah, fuck the Jets.
Honestly, the worst draft might have honestly been the Panthers, and
what?
Bro, I think McMillan.
Nick Scorton is insane. Prince, however the hell you say that is insane.
Okay, first of all, I don't believe in ETN. Second of all, I think McMillan went way too high.
And they got Jimmy Horn, who's a sleeper.
Okay, Jimmy Horn's a sleeper, no doubt about that. But ETN, I do not believe in.
Insane.
And McMillan, I think went way too high. I think he should have been.
Yeah, but what's his
15,
ceiling?
16.
What's his ceiling?
He has a good ceiling, no doubt, but he plays for the Carolina Panthers. That's the difference.
Bryce Young's coming off a 3,000-yard.
Don't get me wrong, he's going to be great, but he's still not going to do anything.
Do you know how to grade drafts?
Yes, I know how to grade drafts.
Grading drafts is based on what a team needs.
Right.
They need that. Xavier Legette showed last year that he's not a wide receiver 1. He showed it.
He was very, very good.
He was good, and he's a wide receiver 2.
Very good.
This is like
he was very mid.
Mike Evans V2, and you take a swing at that.
We'll see.
Because you believe in Bryce Young still, right?
We'll see.
So if you believe in Bryce Young, you take the receiver. If you believe in the Chiefs, you probably are not wasting picks at the end of the draft on running backs. Yes, I
like Jimmy Horn. He might be a sleeper.
It's just, I don't know.
How do you guys feel about the Patriots?
Great
draft class.
Great. Will Campbell.
The Falcons just went for dogs.
The Falcons did great. Who was your worst though?
Worst?
You swear by the Panthers?
No, they were pretty bad though. I think personally, but the Browns for sure. They're just the way they literally could have had Travis and Shadeur if they really wanted it. You know? And it doesn't make sense to me because it's like, if you wanted Shadeur, why didn't you draft him
I'll say
earlier?
this though, they have the Jaguars next year's first round pick. So
they do.
So if the Jags end up being terrible, I see the vision in a way.
We'll see.
Yeah, that's the thing though.
Either way though,
all these grades at the end of the day, they're just grades. Nobody's gonna know what's actually gonna happen. like I said, nobody expected fucking Brock Purdy to come out there and be a starting quarterback for the 49ers, being drafted wherever he's Mr. Irrelevant, right? So, I mean.
Yeah, the kid that was Mr. Irrelevant this year was a
Patriots got him, right?
Yeah, he was from Memphis. I don't know his name though. And then our teams, so our NFL teams, Nate's Giants, I'm Bills, T-Flow is Steelers. How do you feel about the Giants draft? If you could give it a grade.
Yeah, solid B+. Like I would say A, but I'm not super ecstatic about Jackson Dart. I do love Abdul Carter and Cam Scadaboo. Those two picks, I like those a lot. I think they're going to impact our team a lot this coming year.
Yeah.
I liked what the Bills did, bro. Honestly, I mean, I know you were kind of like back and forth with it, but I mean, look at what they drafted. They went straight defense pretty much, and that's what they need. So.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if Nate's giving the Giants a B+, and I actually kind of think the Giants did pretty good, other than taking the worst quarterback on the board at that point. I'm probably gonna have to stay like what you said, like B+. Mm-hmm. These things can change. It's like if Maxwell Hairston goes out there and he's prime Tre'Davious White and is jumping into Bills Mafia after pick sixes, I can't say anything. But there's so many unknowns right now, and right now I have to sway towards like a B or a B+. I'm not super excited about Deion Walker the way other people are, because we signed a lot of D linemen to extensions this offseason, so I don't think he's going to see as much playing time as Maxwell Hairston could. And I didn't mind the Caden Prather in round 7. He is slept on. He has like over 2,000 receiving yards in college.
Yeah.
He's a slept on player that dropped really far out of the top rounds due to some character concerns, which I totally understand.
You know what's funny though? It's
B+.
These
B+.
round 6, round 7 players. It's like that. They have a chip on their shoulder. Like, and some of them maybe weren't supposed to be drafted, or maybe some of them were supposed to be drafted higher.
Yeah.
But like for the guys that were supposed to be drafted higher, it just gives you a little extra motivation. It's just like the guys that go before you. I mean, when you're there in the room and you're watching, you see all these guys get drafted before you. It's going to give these guys motivation. So
I mean, we have something going on though in-house, because we signed we drafted a D tackle, an edge rusher, a D tackle, 3 straight rounds. So I don't know if there's a sense of lost belief in Ed Oliver and Greg Rousseau and those guys, but I mean, we just paid them.
maybe they just want competition.
So, I mean,
younger guys too.
There's got to be something going on that I'm not hearing about. The Pittsburgh most underwhelming team of all time, Steelers. How do we feel about their? It's like a C, right?
I'd say C-.
It's pretty bad.
I like our first round draft pick, Harmon. I think he's a dog. But I think with the next pick, which was, I think, we didn't have another pick until the 3rd round. I was really hoping we were going to take a quarterback there. We didn't. We ended up taking Will Howard, I think, in the 5th round. Don't know how to feel about that. Obviously, he played on a great team, won the national championship. But it's Will Howard. They obviously didn't have him very high in the QB rankings pre-draft, so I don't know how to feel about that. I'm going to give him a C-. I know we got a few other players, but I think really mainly I was looking forward to seeing us draft a quarterback, and that didn't happen, so pretty underwhelming.
Kind of tells me that you guys have some deal with A-Rod.
And I almost feel like we do, but I'm not going to.
Why would Art Rooney want to do that to the team?
I'm not going to guarantee it.
Yeah. Why would you want to start Mason Rudolph?
It's just like the battle between Mason Rudolph and Will Howard.
And all the conversation we heard last year about, should Tomlin move on? Like, you have all these things to think about, and you don't draft Shadeur Sanders.
I think the most interesting move though was you go and get a guy like DK Metcalf and you pay him, but you're not willing to draft a quarterback in the 1st or 3rd round. To me, that's a little confusing, because it almost makes me think it's like they have a plan or something. It's like you would think they would have Rodgers coming in.
I think you guys are trading TJ Watt.
And that's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that there's a possibility that we're trading a TJ Watt or a George Pickens or one of our star players so we can get a guy. But in my opinion, I think it would have been better to draft somebody younger.
Kirk Cousins is still in play.
Yeah, and you can go and get an older guy, but like I said, you don't know how many more years you're going to get out of Rodgers, Kirk. You really don't know. And with a younger guy, obviously you don't know what you're going to get until they come and show up. But, it's just the hype around it, being young, learning, seeing how they grow. Obviously, like, Will Howard won the national championship. I mean, you can't really say anything to him. Like, he had a great college year this past season. But the fact of the matter is when you're looking at the NFL draft, you're looking at all the other metrics. And, that's why he went, 5th round, and all these other quarterbacks went before him. Because he doesn't have that arm power and the speed like some of these other quarterbacks have.
He just sucks. He sucks.
And
he's better than Quinn Ewers, but
I disagree with you, because I think if he sucked, then you think just because you're a good college quarterback doesn't mean he's going to go to the NFL. And I understand that. Like, that's true. But, like, he's got passion. He's willing to learn. He's only gotten better throughout his career. So give the kid a shot. I don't think he'll start. He'll be QB2. But
Ryan Day spent
we'll see.
$20 million on that team. Will Howard didn't touch $1 million of it. That's what'll happen. If you're serviceable, you can go win a natty. If you're serviceable, you can get far in the NFL. We've seen Mark Sanchez make an AFC championship.
Brock Purdy,
49ers. Purdy. If you're serviceable, it can work.
So you're saying Purdy's not good?
No, he's not good.
I don't think he's that great.
If there's an overcast in the sky and there's wind and there's a 35% chance of rain, go ahead and count him for 3 interceptions. So I think you guys just had a mid-draft, but I honestly think it could be because you're making bigger moves outside of the drafts.
It could be that.
You guys need to get rid of TJ Watt, in my opinion.
Honestly, though, I mean, we'll just see what happens. But at the end of the day, like, what's that? I mean, Will Howard hit 35 touchdowns.
I would have traded TJ Watt for the number 1 overall pick.
Decent QBR. I mean, the only thing is you just don't know what you're going to get from a 5th round
Would the
quarterback.
Titans take TJ Watt for the number 1 overall pick?
Yeah,
probably
no.
not. No. Yeah, that's probably valid. I would have traded him, though. I would have gotten rid of TJ Watt for something on draft night to try and go get somebody.
The thing is, though, is the Steelers are built on their defense, and they're not going to trade TJ Watt. But if they will, they're going to get a quarterback. So
built on their defense, and I don't even know if they were a top 10 defense. Anyways.
A lot of injuries last year.
NBA playoffs, we've seen some games today. We're filming on the 27th of April. We've seen some games today. The 1 o'clock game was the
Knicks Pistons.
Actually, no. What I'm going to do is we're going to go back to yesterday. What'd you say?
The Lakers, bro.
We're going to go back to yesterday's games. We saw the Cavs. They closed that series out, basically. Mm-hmm. The Thunder actually closed the series out. And
yeah.
We're not going to talk too much about that. You
said Thunder
sweep,
was
going to happen. Yeah, he did.
I said Celtics sweep, but they lost.
Nuggets Clips is going to go down as one of the better first-round series ever.
It's the only one that's 2-2 right now.
Aaron Gordon with that game winner, that shit was crazy.
It wasn't. That was in his hands. That was terrible by Zach Sharba and the officiating crew. But when you call it on the floor, you're going to have a hard time overturning it when it's that close, so I get it. Mm-hmm. Nate, who do you think's squeaking out of that series now?
I still like the Clippers for some reason.
I do too.
I do feel like that game could come back and haunt them, though, and the Nuggets could finish out the series.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be tight. I'm going to stick with the Clippers. I think they can win this in 7, but I think it's going to be very close.
Yeah, I think it goes to 7.
Yeah, I'm rolling Clippers in 6. I think they close it out in Denver. Or no, they'll close it out in LA. My bad.
You think they win tonight or tomorrow? I meant.
Yeah, I got Clippers tomorrow. I got Clippers.
No, they play. I
think
in
they
2
play
days.
Tuesday.
2 days.
Yeah, because the Warriors and Rockets play tomorrow.
They play tomorrow. Yeah, and then Cavs Heat play tomorrow, and that should be over. But we'll see.
Rockets Warriors we saw last night as well. The Rockets have to score more points because the Warriors aren't playing that good.
Mm-hmm. I will say this, though. It's like if Jalen Green can play the way that he did the other night, they have a great chance to win the series. Now, you still have to go against Stephen Curry. You still got to go against Draymond Green, guys with championship experience. But what I watched from Jalen Green, that's what I've been wanting to see out of him, in the playoffs especially, because his playoffs recently, like, up and down, but he had a really, really good game. I think they have momentum now. They have to win this game, though, tomorrow. If they don't win tomorrow, I think the series is over.
Yeah.
But you said Nuggets or Clippers, Turtle. I didn't know what you picked.
I said Clippers in 7.
You said Clippers 6, right? You said 6, right?
I said 7. Rockets are cooked. I can't see them scoring more than 110 points in a game this series, so they're cooked.
Golden State's 3.5-point favorites.
I would definitely bet on Golden State the rest of the way. I've tried to make money betting on the Rockets multiple times this year. It's not going to work. What do we got going on right now? So we saw the Knicks Pistons today. Karl Anthony Towns with a huge 3. Tim Hardaway Jr. 100% got fouled on that 3.
Def got fouled.
Should have been a foul call, especially when you're the refs. And you have to understand the situation as if this doesn't get called and the game's over, they're down 3-1, where only LeBron James has ever come back down from. So you have to make that foul call. There's no excuse for the officiating the past 2 days. Zero excuse. It's the playoffs.
Did y'all see the Pistons coach after the game?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he was livid, dude. Like,
Yeah,
absolutely livid. Which, the last play of the game, do y'all think that was a foul, or what do you think?
I think so. 100%.
That's what I just said.
You
Yeah,
think so,
it's
100%?
100%. I mean, he got him up in the air. That's why they call it a pump fake.
And I think the refs just swallowed the whistle. They didn't want to call anything, and that's kind of what you start to get with these tight games. They want to see it's either a buzzer beater or nothing. Like, even if it's a foul, you feel like they like to swallow the whistle more than call it. But if it's a foul, you got to call it in that situation. But
yeah, Lakers Wolves.
You said don't be surprised if the Wolves.
I told y'all don't be
beat 'em in
surprised if this
5 or
happens.
They could win in 5 for sure.
Luka Doncic. He might not be an NBA champion ever in his career.
That's crazy, but we'll
see. He doesn't have the mental chops the way Anthony Edwards does. And you could say whatever about last year's playoffs. Karl Anthony Towns was doing a disservice to that team, in my opinion. Anthony Edwards is starting to become my favorite player in the NBA. He plays exactly like Kobe and Jordan did. He doesn't miss a beat. He's precise. He talks shit to you.
plays the game with passion.
He wants it more than everybody else, and you can see it. 43 today. Nate.
43?
Yeah. Nate, I mean.
Jesus.
I'm assuming you're feeling how I'm feeling. It doesn't matter what the Lakers do at this point.
Did Bron have 40? What did Bron have?
35. Luka had 38.
Lord.
Yeah, unless we see like a LeBron, Luka, just massacre takeover.
That's what they did tonight. They had 73 points combined.
And they still lost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's over.
Bron's not going to be able to give you any more.
It's over.
I believe the Wolves move on. And
trading away Anthony Davis and getting Luka Doncic, it's like, yeah, you got to score, but you lose a big defensive part of your team. And I understand Anthony Davis is hurt, which you can't predict injury and anything like that. But with his past, I guess you kind of can predict he's going to get injured. But I feel bad for LeBron because, he pretty much gave it all he had, I think. 35.
He's got 1 year left in him.
35 points from a 40-year-old man. I mean, what more can he do?
Yeah, I'm not doing all that, bro. Like, you're still playing. I'm not about to make no age excuse. It's your choice to keep playing. My thing is, LeBron, you've done all you can. You've told Luka. You've showed it to the fans, the viewers on TV. You've given up that driver's seat. And Luka, while he had 38 points, was super inefficient. He's lazy on defense. And he's not a championship player.
Yeah.
We've got Magic Celtics rolling right now. One thing I've learned in this series, guys, is that the Celtics are not winning the championship this year. Whether it's going to be because of injuries or because of inconsistency scoring the basketball. If the Magic can do this to you, what are the Cavs going to do to you? What are the Pistons or the Pacers or the Bucks going to do to you? What are the Knicks, who are really good defensively, going to do to you? Hunter, Braden, all our people in our lives that swear that you guys are winning another one. You have to have a reality check when a team like the Magic is causing this many problems. I think the Magic can take this 7 if they win this game. Almost to halftime, 50-48 right now. Nate, how do we feel about this series?
I think the Celtics win this series. I think they might get it in 6. I do think the Magic are giving them a run for their money, but I think that's only because of how good they are defensively. Mm-hmm. My questions for the Celtics are, what are you going to do when you play a team that's good defensively, not as good as the Magic, but can also score the shit out of the basketball, like Cleveland can do? Mm-hmm. And some
We've
other
seen
teams
the Pacers put up 140 points before.
Well, I mean, and the Celtics got the Knicks or Pistons next, so it's like it's not an easy walk to this Eastern Conference Finals at all. Like the Magic's putting up a fight. Like you said, they play slow-paced basketball. They really slow you down.
Slowest pace in the league. Slowest pace in the last 5 NBA
Their
seasons.
defense is good. They have 2 very, very good scorers. They're dangerous, but at the same time, I think I'm agreeing with Nate. Celtics probably taking.
It's not about the Magic winning the series. It's about the way the Magic have exposed the Celtics, because the Celtics have enough talent that they'll get out of it.
Yeah, I agree.
The Magic are laying the blueprint for Cleveland right now. Mm-hmm. So I think that the Celtics are getting out in 6 or 7, but the Magic have. Shout out to Jamal Mosley coaching. It's been a gutsy effort all 3 games. Other than one that was blowout, but they were there in the first half. It was still a good effort. I think he's a really good coach. I think he should be there for good years to come. Pacers Bucks are 9:30 game tonight. I have the Bucks taking this. I put money on it.
I like it.
What do you guys think? I mean, they kind of showed last game, I think, why they are a superior team regardless of ranking. What do you think, Nate?
Yeah, I think Indiana goes up 3-1. I think they just have the better matchups when it comes to when they play each other. I mean, it showed in a couple of the games. I think that they can shut down Giannis, and they really don't have to worry about much else.
Shut down Giannis.
But they haven't really been shutting him down.
Yeah, you can't shut down Giannis.
There's really not much to that, but I'm just saying containing him best they can is going to get them through the series, no problem.
I will say, I mean, Siakam's been playing very, very good.
He's been hooping. I mean, he was hitting fadeaways.
Pascal Siakam's been raw for a minute. If you ain't on Pascal Siakam, you don't understand.
No, I understand.
He's like that, bro.
I guess like just watching him in the playoffs and like obviously what he did a few years ago.
Power forward, top 5 center, power forward in the league, for sure.
I mean,
he's
I wouldn't
top 5 power forward.
Yeah, top 5 power forward.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say center, but power forward.
I don't know how much he's switching to the 5.
Maybe in the playoffs.
Yeah. Pascal Siakam, super underappreciated player. I'm glad Indiana gave him his money. I'm glad he feels like home.
Your best bet, though, if you're the Pacers, is foul Giannis every time he drives. I mean, but he's been making his free throws.
Well, they have Dame.
But he's making his free throws.
They have Dame. Like, I think that's what everybody's kind of forgetting is they have Damian Lillard on the team. Don't be surprised if Milwaukee can get out of this series, knock off Cleveland, and then make a run at it.
Where are they at tonight?
They're in Milwaukee. With everything that's kind of happened, have you guys changed your championship picks at all? I know you said Thunder. I know you said Celtics. I said Lakers.
Well, your Lakers might
Lakers are not
making
it.
Yeah, that sucks.
I'm still rolling with the Thunder. Thunder, they're probably going to play Nuggets or Clippers on a worn out Nuggets or Clippers after this series, and they're probably going to be beat up. Maybe some injuries. Thunder are going to be well rested, no injuries. Just swept the Grizzlies. They're probably going to wait another 2 or 3 games.
I wish the Grizzlies didn't even make the playoffs.
Thunder in 5, bro.
That was actually such a waste.
They were a waste of a playoff team.
John Morant's just going down that way.
Do you still think the Celtics can get ring number 20?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm still riding it. Obviously they're facing some trouble with the Magic, whatever it is what it is. At the end of the day, it matters about who wins the games, who's going to make it to the finals. And the Celtics have that experience, and they have the talent to do it again. Now, I do agree with you with the fact that I don't think they're playing as good as they were last year.
God, no.
And that is very, very true. But when they get in these high-10 situations, home court advantage, I really like their chances to go all the way, and I don't see why you wouldn't like them. I mean, they have great depth. They're probably the best 1 through 5 in the NBA, so...
I dislike them a lot.
No, I don't like the Celtics, but I can't, not give them their
My
flowers.
favorite part about the Celtics is their coach.
Yeah,
I think there's
love
a
Missoula.
home run hire, but I think the Celtics in like 2 years are going to have an identity crisis when Jason Tatum is like still what he is and Jaylen Brown is still what he is. Like there's no evolution for this team. They got a ring out of it, so props to them, but it's team basketball. The Celtics don't have a superstar on their team.
It looks like it's Jaylen Brown's team to me, but
He's
what do
not
I
even
know?
playing tonight.
I know he's not, but like
He's out tonight?
Yeah, he's not even
out.
playing.
He's not playing.
You can't even get them to like play through a sore thumb, bro. It gets on my nerves. Anyways,
Jesus Christ. Gary Trent had 9 threes.
yeah, shout out Gary Trent, heroic performance in Game 3. Uh,
I think Dame will have a good game tonight. Dame will have a good game tonight. That's my call. If Gary Trent had a good game last, because what he went, Dame went 2 for 12 last game. 1 for 8 from 3.
Dame's due. Ain't been on a court in a while. He still makes an impact regardless of scoring.
I mean, look on the floor plus 16. I mean, Gary Trent plus 20, Giannis plus 24 in the last game. So, and then you have Bobby Portis coming off the bench providing really good defense. You know, getting boards. So, don't be surprised if the Bucks come back and win the series. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
If I was gonna bet on a sleeper team to win the championship, it'd be Milwaukee right now.
Really?
Yeah.
But if you think, what if the Pacers win tonight? Then does that change, obviously, or no?
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
we have to operate on a game-to-game basis.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
Like I can't act like they're gonna come
It's
down.
so
3-1,
weird though when the
but-
series is 2-1 because it's like
Yeah.
you know, like if they get that 3, it's like chances are very, very slim, very slim.
That really wraps up what we wanted to hit on today. We've been preaching to you guys. We got a lot of stuff coming with NFL. We want to do like a pick'em, play 'em group for NFL, like pick'em games and stuff like that. And we can keep like a running leaderboard for you guys to interact with us. See who kind of knows ball the best. We've got a bunch of ideas in mind, but with all that being said, it was fun today, guys. Give me some dap. It was fun. We're gonna get out of here.
Yep.
Love you guys. See you guys.
Thank you.
Peace.
Shit.
Chill pod.
What we get, an hour?
That was not no hour.
45?
I don't even think it was that.